Hi, Mark here from the Tangent-Bound Podcast Network and host of the flagship show, the Tangent-Bound Podcast. Did you know that we over at Tangent-Bound are always looking for amazing podcasts to promote? And did you also know that we are also proud nerds and geeks of everything from movies, music, gaming, TV shows, and comic books to wrestling, MMA, soccer, and football? Whatever you can nerd or geek out about, we've got it. And if you're interested, we can help you find it. And if you're a show looking for a place to call home, we've got you covered. Side effects may include upset stomach, dizziness, tumors, shakes, and in some rare cases, death from excessive laughter. Though to be fair, it's only sometimes. Other side effects may include diarrhea, gallstones, heart palpitations, and strong desire for cookies on the dark side. Talk to your doctor and visit TangentBoundNetwork.com and see if Tangent-Bound Network is right for you.
Sucks to the last drop. Are you gonna blow your head off? Take good aim and don't forget to duck. A life sucks every Monday and all the way to Sunday, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I don't care how you're doing, what's up or how's it hanging. I'd like to buy this world one last drink. Life sucks all of the time, so stick it up your sunshine, and then you'll see the clouds every day. And then you'll see the clouds every day. And then you'll see the clouds every day.
Hey everybody, welcome to a new episode of The Crazy Life. I'm Brian, joining me as always, Henno. There was
Happy New Year!
Okay, I was like, there's no audio.
Was there a delay?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
I was scared for a minute.
Happy New Year.
Yeah,
Yay.
yeah, Happy New Year. We haven't recorded in
It
too
took
long.
way too long.
Way too long,
Yeah,
you're right.
like forever.
Yeah. Oh, man.
But I got good news.
Well, that's good.
I'm actually more available these days because I quit bands finally.
All right, wait. I
Yeah, a
hope
few
this is
weeks
for
ago,
good
they
reasons. I hope this wasn't like,
Oh, this is like,
storming off, smashing guitars type of situation.
yeah, no. We had our big 80s gig at the beginning of the year. So there was a lot of work towards that. But I also had New Year's Eve gig, which is awesome. The people up there freaking love Jukebox Widowmakers. They love the music, and there were a bunch of people there, surprisingly, because it was like, all the cold and snow is heading your direction.
Yeah, yeah.
We're not
Well,
getting any of it.
Luckily,
right? So-
we're getting more cold. The snow's been staying to the south of us for the most part. Like, we had one hit of about 8 to 10 inches. The rest of the time, it's been, quarter of an inch, half an inch type situation. So we've been pretty lucky. But it's been cold for here.
Like, we had rain through Christmas. I mean, luckily it was snow on the upper hill.
Yeah.
On the mountain, like the ski hill has been doing great.
Well, that's good.
But
yeah.
down below, like there was one day that I went for a walk in, I don't remember, it was like within days of New Year's, and the trails were muddy and the rivers were running where they don't ever run at this time of year because they're ice.
Right.
Oh, it was crazy. It was just crazy.
Yeah.
Everything's crazy. Like we're gonna have highs in the 40s this week.
Jeez.
In the upper 40s.
Man,
it might be 50.
Wow. Our highest this week, I think we're supposed to finally get back into the 30s. So, and we're excited. But by the end of the week, I think we're back down in the 20s or lower.
Yeah. And we're supposed to be high. It's
nuts. Crazy. Yeah.
So anyhow,
because normally we're very much flipped. Like you guys usually are getting this and we're getting 40s, 30s, you know.
Oh yeah. The whole thing's nuts.
Yeah.
So the New Year's gig was really cool because there were all these people from out of town for whatever reason. I don't know why. So people were getting hammered. I mean, they were just getting lit.
Yeah.
and it was really fun.
That warm weather got them
it was
all
a great
frisky,
gig.
is what it was.
Right?
You know?
Exactly. And yep. And then we, Sharon and I got a room at the hot springs, and so it was just we just
nice.
soaked in the hot springs on New Year's Day, and it was wonderful. And
Yeah, that's cool.
And then after that, it was like boom, on the whatever it was, the 9th, or basically a week later, we did our big gig at the Liberty Theater, and it was awesome. Like it was far from a sellout, but like the entire floor in front of the stage all night long, people dancing.
Oh, great.
I mean, it was great. Like great feedback. People loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of FOMO for the week after when word was getting around how great it was. So
well, that's great really too, because I imagine as
a
performer, it's like, obviously you want to, you'd love to sell the place out, but at the same time, it's like you'd rather have a small crowd that's like intense or into it, I mean, than have a big crowd sitting on their hands.
Yeah.
They're not enjoying us at all.
Yep. Yeah. And buzz got created, and, it was really cool. So after that, like pretty much I did nothing for about a week. And then all of a sudden the emails start going out about gigs getting booked. And in July and August. So, some of the, most of the places actually start all their booking in January. Like they're just lining people up right away.
Makes sense.
And so the text messages start,
that gives you time for cancellations and all that kind of stuff to, versus waiting till the month of or something like that.
Yeah. Like it's well in advance. And so the one guy who's now took over booking of the big summer Wednesday night series that I do every year, that he starts sending the texts out, and I was like, and I just had to, it's not how I wanted to do it, but I had to say something right then and there. And I was like, guys, I'm done playing bass. Like,
okay.
I didn't want to do it this way, but I'm done. And I'm like, Friday night, clinched it for me. We had, it's like, it was so cool. Like at one point, Sharon had made some comment about me, like just looking different, on the stage.
Yeah.
And Ron, my friend, it was great. I paid my friend Ron to hand me guitars during the show.
Right. Oh man,
you
had your own roadie?
Yeah, I ever spent. Oh yeah, it was incredible.
Oh no, Henno was doing. You were going around. Do you know who I am? I got a roadie.
Oh yeah. Oh, I mean, in my 30 years of playing guitar on stage, I've never walked to the side of the stage and had somebody hand me the guitar.
Right. That's worth the moment.
It was so good. Like, because I had a couple of guitar changes I had to do, and then I'm like, dude, I'm going to pay you to tune my guitars and hand them to me all night long. And we had a set list of where the rotations would be. And the best part was when I waved him off on one, the drummer and the bass player started giving me such a hard time.
Big time, Dim.
Like,
yeah.
He doesn't need that one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Calls the roadie off.
Yep.
Anyhow.
I love it.
But it was a treat. And it ended up working out great, because at one point we were having a problem with some gear. And I'm like, look, there was somebody on the side of the stage that could be like, hey, go get Patrick. We're having an issue. And it was just fun. It was just a blast to just have that level of like, oh my God, this is wonderful. But anyhow, so Ron is up next to Sharon, and Ron says, well, he's playing guitar. And she's like, what do you mean? Because to her, a bass, a guitar.
It's all guitar. Yeah, right. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing different about it.
Right.
And all of a sudden she goes, oh.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, that's the difference. And there were so many people in the audience too, like people that I've played with for years that were like, okay, you're a guitar player. I'm like, yeah, I am.
Right.
I happen to enjoy playing bass.
Yeah.
But I'm a guitar player.
Yeah.
and
I'm sure it's a totally different beast, I'm sure. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, and I'm a different person. Yeah. I'm different on stage.
Obviously you were big time in your roadie.
Right? I'm like, I'm playing guitar like a lead guitar player is supposed to play, like I'm up in the front, I'm doing all the shit, like, excuse me. Yeah. I'm doing the stuff, man.
Yeah.
Like, I got the eyes closed. I'm milking it for all it's worth.
Yeah. Got your back to the other guitar player. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or to the singer.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. Sharing the mic with him. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Doing windmills around the stage. Yeah.
I mean, come on. I've been, we've been studying this footage since we were kids playing air guitar.
That's right.
You know what it's all about.
Yeah.
So anyhow.
Put your foot up on the amp.
Yeah. And so I knew that, like, it wasn't going to be too much of a shock to anybody. And the funny part was the one person that I knew would say that I would hear nothing from said nothing. And the person that I knew that would be the most supportive, my friend Patrick, said, it's about time. That's what he said.
Okay.
Like it took you long enough.
Yeah.
And he was right, but it was time. And it was this thing, look, you guys are booking gigs. I just need to be upfront. I'm done.
Yeah.
And so then so those were two bands, just boom, right off the bat, done. And I was like, that felt really good. Like, that felt really good. Mm-hmm. And so when Doghouse text message went around, I said, Tom, I'm not prepared to commit to anything right now.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm done, but I'm not committing. Now, we had talked about doing Doghouse rehearsal like the week after this. And I really wanted to do it. I was totally up for getting together and just playing with the guys. We hadn't played in months.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, that didn't happen, but we played today. We got together and jammed today. We had a wonderful time. I still love playing with Doghouse. I love playing with these guys. It's really fun. And a lot of it has to do with I'm part of the rhythm section with a really good drummer.
Yeah.
And it matters, And,
yeah, I was gonna say that. I'm like, I think there's that element of like what you're looking at is even like you said, you let off with like I enjoy playing bass, so it's like it's not like you're doing something you absolutely hate, but it's not where your like your real passion is. But like you said,
it's not my real passion.
There's nothing wrong, like if you still wanted to play with Doghouse, and we're like, hey guys, I'll still but maybe you want to find somebody else, for your permanent stuff or something,
And that was the thing is
because you don't want to leave them hanging, obviously.
I didn't. No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
And luckily, everybody's doing other stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not a big deal.
Yeah, it's not like you guys are a touring band or something to where it's like, oh shit, now or stuff. What do we do? Yeah.
So
we both got it out of the way.
Like, we got it. Yeah, that's out of the way.
Sorry, folks.
So we do have the we do have stuff that I want to do. There's songs that we've written. One of the reasons I also want to keep playing with Doghouse is it's original music.
Mm-hmm.
We are playing half original music.
Yeah.
And there's songs that I'd like to record with the band, like songs that I firmly believe in that Tom has written that I think are fantastic songs. And you want to go book studio time? I will rehearse and I'll be there.
Yeah.
But the thing that I didn't realize is how much these summer gigs rent space in my head.
Really?
No idea.
You mean like down the road rent?
Until they were gone.
Okay. So like an anxiety kind of situation
even though
almost.
Yeah, like even though it's at the end of July, it's weighing on
I get
me
it
now.
Yeah, totally understand. Yeah.
And it's so far away.
I know, right?
But what it is
it's like let future you worry about that, but you can't.
Because I know what happens a month before.
Yeah.
Or 6 weeks before when, hey, let's get together and play. And all of a sudden, every night of my week is taken up.
Yep.
And then it's weeks in a row. And it was just the hugest relief to just say, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, and I regret nothing.
Right.
Like,
I've heard football players that retired talk about similar vibe and that they're like, I want to go play football, but what I don't want to do is all the practices, all the meetings, I have to go hit the gym.
Schedule.
I have to hit the gym hard every day, because when you're retired, you hit the gym, but it's not the same because you don't have to stay in on-field shape. You just want to stay fit.
Yeah.
So I get it, yeah, because I've heard enough of them talk about that, and that's sometimes they're like, that's what led me to retire. Like if I could just not do any of that other stuff and go play at that level, I'm in. But you can't do that. You know, you got to keep your cardio up, and you got to go to the meetings, and so yeah, I get it.
And now, and it was just nice to have all of a sudden the week has opened up.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm thinking about getting back to, you know, finishing my writing and my recording. And Ron, who I play with in Jukebox Widowmakers, he was the other guitar player. Like he's going to come over and we're going to start working on stuff together and just playing together. And I'm stoked about the potential for the future. And the other thing is my guitar playing is finally, like the last month. Well, we had rehearsal a couple weeks ago. It was the first one after the gig. And I got to a guitar solo, and I don't know where it came from, but I had a great guitar solo. Like it was the first time that something unique came out that I
just
was
on the spot,
like, afterwards.
not something you'd written
improv.
Ahead. Okay, cool.
Yep, nothing. It was a complete improv section, and Johnny goes, "Wow, that was great." And I'm like, "Thanks. I have no idea where that came from, and it's about freaking time." Like I needed that because I haven't felt like I had a single voice that I have. I'm just basically just up there going through the motions, and finally it felt fantastic.
Well, and it's interesting too, right? Because it's like you were saying, it's like, you know, you're booked up, and you think about it this way: is everybody we're taught now to basically be busy from the minute we get up to the minute we go to bed, right? That's how people pretty much are now, and so everyone feels like they have limited time for passion projects, right? So now what's happening is you're taking up a variety of your space with something you're not fully passionate about. Not that I'm saying you're selling, you're phoning it in, but now you've just opened up that space to where now you can fill that time with, hey, I can just play guitar. So it's exciting, it's freeing, I'm sure, like you said, you know what I mean? And it's no knock on anybody else. It's no knock on anything else. It's just that I think there's such a thing that if we feel like we only have X amount of time, why are we filling it with things that aren't bringing us as much joy as possible? You know?
Yep.
And it's being selfish, yes, but in the best way, because we all deserve that. And again, especially with the way that so many people really are only leaving themselves an hour a night, or if that, to really enjoy anything. You know, because by the time you get home from work, you make dinner, you know, if you need to hit a shower or something like that, it's like, all right, I'm going to watch an hour of TV before I go to bed. You know, and like literally that's all you get is that hour. Why are you watching a TV show you don't really like? Right? You know, like that's kind of where I'm seeing it. So I feel like this is a good way to try to find or not find to encourage the spark. You know, so it's not just a spark. Maybe it becomes a full on, you know, fire.
Yeah, and that's like, you know, we're doing a few new songs this week. I took last night and sat down and started playing and practicing, and I'm putting in way more than I usually would because I have the time, I have the energy, and the value is there for me.
Yeah,
going and playing with Doghouse this afternoon, Sunday afternoon, awesome. I know I'm always going to have a good time.
Yeah.
You know, there's no pressure. It's always going to sound good. It's going to be creative. It's going to be fun.
Right. It's a good hang, if nothing else.
We're going to be, well, that exactly.
You know,
and that's the thing. Now,
and that charges
I'm not saying
us
the other
up
bands
too.
aren't fun. They're, like the other bands are fun. Like there's nothing there. It's playing music is never not fun.
Right, that's what I was saying before.
I've had some
like
moments where it's not been fun, but
usually it ends up being the politics or something else more so than the music. From what you've told me, but yeah,
and for me though, it's still about if we're playing covers, let's get something out of them. Let's put the effort in to nail them, like make them our own.
Yeah.
Or do them precisely and come together and with this common goal. And originals are always going to be that's pure inspiration.
Yeah.
You know, that's wonderful. But I I was starting to kind of get caught up in a little bit of mediocrity, to be honest, and that's I don't need that.
Yeah.
I prefer to excel. I prefer to. It's just for me, just to go out there and hey, we're entertaining.
Yeah.
No, I want to be more than just entertaining.
Yeah. You want to hear the FOMO a week later, like you were talking
I
about,
want to
right?
hear that people were like, "Oh, I missed it.
Man, I should have been there." Like, do you guys have any videos of it, or that's what you want to hear.
When are you playing next?
There it is. Because I can't miss it next
and
time.
People,
yeah.
And people pay $25 a head for this.
Wow. Okay.
Like for a while, they were like, "Man, it's going to be crickets in that audience." Because it's like, oh God, I hope we've earned this.
I mean, that's
People
$25 is a steep cover, for most stuff,
especially for a local band.
Yeah, because most local bands you get to see for basically pretty close to nothing, at a bar or something like that, or if it's at a venue, it's not much, or you'll get to see quite a few bands for $10 or $20, something like that, So that's I can understand where that can add some pressure. Yeah.
So it was kind of funny. We were all laughing about it. We were expecting not good results, but you know what?
Well, I'm glad it wasn't crickets.
Came out.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're like, oh, cool. And my mom and her friends are here. Shout out, Mom.
Yeah.
And her Canasta Club.
Oh, the best was one of our singers and the other guitar player, Brian. He's a tax accountant, and like he is the tax guy in the Valley.
Yeah.
And there was one point in the set where someone's like, "That's my tax guy up there." And all I can think of is the scene in Backdraft,
man,
where McCaffrey's on, they're in the middle of that burning warehouse, and his brother Brian's got the hose and he's putting out the fire, and he's like, "That's my brother,"
yes,
that's my tax attorney up there.
I love it.
Oh my, I was dying. It was so great because you can totally hear it on the stage. It was so loud.
That's so good. I love that.
So great.
But that's awesome though too.
Yeah, but it was a great. Yeah,
that's
cool. Yeah.
Oh yeah, hey, you should see this guy for your taxes. Also, go check him out Friday night.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great.
Love it.
Oh yeah, so that was, that's been the big change this year.
That's a pretty big change though, because you've been talking for a while about
way too long
altering your approaches in music and stuff,
cutting back something.
I'm not gonna lie, I a while ago, like I'm talking probably a year or longer, I kind of wondered if at some point you might back off of playing bass, because you always kind of sort of mention it, but you don't. Like it'll just kind of come up every once in a while, how it's like, but I'm playing bass, and there's always that much, like you said, Sharon noticed the difference on stage. It was like, you can tell how you say I'm playing bass versus when you're like, I'm playing guitar, you're like, that, you can just see that glimmer a little different. So which is cool. Yeah.
It's
it's what you want to do.
Thing, so. Yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was nice, and I have to say, work. I just they continued to take really good care of us. Coming into the new year with like it's just nice to know you're appreciated.
Yeah.
And there's no better way than putting it in my paycheck.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't get that kind. The company will throw a party and that's what you get, and and it's like, I'd rather have money.
I mean, I was honestly surprised. The funny part was my GM was like, "You're not disappointed, are you?" like he's like, he saw my reaction. He thought maybe I was bummed.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, no, I'm actually.
That depends.
Like, really, that's it.
What's your follow up?
Yeah, but he was like, he's like, was that a good or a bad? And I'm like, no, it's really good. I honestly didn't expect anything. I really appreciate it. Thank you. All this stuff. And, my relationship with him just continues to excel and be, fantastic. And so going into the year with, and I gotta hate, I hate to say this, like I still love winter. I like snow, but boy, it's been nice not having to deal with it.
Yeah, right. That's what was funny.
And yet people are. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say that's what's been funny here is how people are bitching or complaining about it here, and I'm just like, yeah, last year we had like 70-degree days, like all the way up until around Christmas. Not every day, but we were still occasionally hitting like 50, 60, 70, and it's like, this is not how it's supposed to be, but I am not going to complain, and even this year, I think it was like 60 the week before Christmas, and I think we didn't have a white Christmas. Then I think we got like a dusting, and then all of a sudden it started, coming in more to where we were getting a little snow like every other day for like 2 weeks. And then we got hit with the one storm a little bit, So it's like now it's like people are like, oh, I love the snow. And I'm like, well, you can come over and shovel because I haven't, my roommate's taking care of it. He's been amazing. But, it's like that. Snow's pretty. It's nice, but shoveling it,
it is. I like
absolutely the stink. It's not fun.
Yeah.
It's not good for us. It causes a lot of heart attacks and back issues and, unless you have, snow blowers and stuff. But, anyway, so so we've been the opposite to where we're very much, I'm very much looking at it as though we've had some very mild winters the last few winters. Like I think this winter we've had the most snow since 2022, I think it is. We're due. We're due to have a stinking one here, so it's, whatever.
Yeah, but that about thumbs me up. How about you?
Oh, man. All right. I'm trying to think when we recorded last. How far back are we going?
It was the beginning of December.
Was it? Okay, so we didn't.
Seriously. Okay. Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to go back to Christmas only because, it's relevant to my grief process that I'm, obviously still dealing with here, which was, Mom wasn't around at Christmas. It was the first one without her, which was hard. But we kept some traditions alive that she always did. Like she always did a toast with eggnog. And it was usually mostly just her kids that would have it. Cause you know how people are. You either love eggnog or you hate it pretty much. There's not a lot of gray area generally with it. So I was
with enough booze in there, I mean.
Well, we don't put booze in it. We did the one year because we didn't have enough. And my sister was like, well, I have eggnog, moonshine. So the adults,
there you go.
Some of us adults had that, not all of us, but some of us had that and some of us had, but so we still did that. My sister did most of the toast and I added a little bit to the end of basically saying the things that my mom usually says, which is like, for those who are here, for those who are not, basically bless us all and I wish you all enough. And by enough, she means I wish you enough food, enough shelter, enough money, so that, you're comfortable basically. And so we did that and, a couple other things that she always did. And the Lifesaver books, which I've talked about. I don't remember if I talked about it on here, but I talked about it on Salty Language.
I think you have.
My mom always bought me and my nephew, since we were little kids, they have Lifesaver books every year. They have, like when we were kids, they had like 2 packs in them. They each had, I think, 5 rolls of different Lifesavers. And my biggest excitement was that's where they put the cherry Lifesavers, like in a whole roll of cherry ones, and they had butter rum ones. And that was basically the only time you could get those. The rest of the year, all you could get was the 5 flavor, the normal roll of Lifesavers.
Yeah, normal Lifesavers.
Which was fine, but I really liked the cherry ones. And also, when you're a kid, it's like those Luden's cough drops, air quote, basically are cherry Lifesavers.
Yeah. Savers, yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So, anyway, so I'd always get excited about those, And as the years went on, they started doing it to where now they have ones that have gummy savers in them. And, you know how much I enjoy gummy candy. So I usually get those. And, with my mom being gone, I was like, oh, man, that ends. And then it's like, no, it doesn't have to. Like, there's no reason I can't continue this. So, and first of all, I got to say, I talked about this on Salty Language, and one of my friends from my Word Games group heard me tell the story, and he sent me Lifesavers books so that I would not be without them this year, which is an awesome gesture of someone
amazing.
To do, right?
That's amazing.
And it made it really warmed me that someone thought enough to do that. That was a really cool thing to do. So thank you I don't know if he listens to this or not. I think so, but thank you. So, but I was like, okay, well, I'm going to get these for not just me and my nephew. My mom was starting to spread it to, because my nephew has an older son. By older, I mean, he's like, was he 18? And then he's got 2 younger girls. So my mom had spread it to them as well. And I totally also meant to get one for my one nephew. Sorry, it's a kind of confusing situation because his mom passed away. My sister and her ex-husband adopted him, basically. So I had to stop and think for a minute where he, but yeah, nephew. So, and stupid me, I did my math wrong, and I did not have one for him, and I felt like a jerk. But fortunately, they left early. So I got out of it this year, but I got to remember for next year to do my math better. But anyway, so, I walked up to my oldest nephew first, the one that my mom always bought, and I walked up to him and handed him one, and he, got a big kind of grin on his face, and he was like, awesome. And I'm like, this can't die. And he goes, no, you're right. He's like, I'm glad and that's really awesome. What mattered was me and him. It's like, now it's not a mom, me and him moment. It's a me and him tradition now, whether I get him or he gets him or we both get one for each other, whatever it is. But I'm also going to do for the others, But that was the one that meant the most. And his son actually had been getting them for a while too, so it was meant something to him too. But it just made me feel really good to carry those things on because it did help make it feel like she was still there. Like that, even though it's trivial things, but it still helped, because it was really hard given that this was, Christmas, her favorite holiday. She always decked out the house and the inside and outside and, like loved going shopping for gifts. Cause my mom, for anyone who doesn't know, or you're new to the podcast, my mom was, as I've always said, the most selfless person I've ever met and loved giving. She just loved seeing people happy, so when they opened something and were excited, it just warmed her. So, but yeah, the thing I wasn't prepared for, I was like, man, what's going to suck is when I come home, it's just going to be me. Like, and her and I always opened gifts after we came home from the family thing. So I'm like, wow, I mean, I know this may sound first world problem situation, but it was like, there's no gift for me to open. There's no mom. And obviously I'd give up the gift in a second to have mom back, but I was just like, it's kind of a suck on top of suck, whatever. And, I had a friend mention to me, she was like, go get yourself something like you think your mom will get you, wrap it and still open it and say, you know what, she would have done this kind of a thing,
Yep.
And I didn't wrap it, but I did get myself, a couple things and was like, she would have been like, get it kind of a thing, because that's how she was with me. It was, if she saw me, there was something I wanted and she could get it for me, within reason, obviously, she would be like, get it. So I did, and that helps. But what I wasn't prepared for at all was I had completely forgotten that since my mom had passed and we got her remains, she was cremated, they had basically, we were moving them from one sibling to the next. And I forgot that Christmas was where it became my turn. And I hadn't thought about how emotional this was going to be. So I've got the box of my mom's remains, and I walk in the house, and dude, I just lost it. I mean, completely had to set the box down sobbing because it all hit me hard. Because, and again, you know, I was by myself at the time too, which I didn't so much think about that. I should have been like, hey, somebody should come over for a little bit, or, you know, because my roommate was he was at a party, so it was, you know, he wasn't even here to like distract me. But I'm kind of glad I had the moment, because I think I needed that, you know. Yeah, it's still even getting me now.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I gotta, you know, figure out where I'm gonna put her. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to set her in her chair. The chair she always sat in, because I've got a mess in my living room and I haven't got a better spot right now. But also I was like, this feels right. Mom's going to sit in her chair. And then it hit me again because I was like, sorry. Mom's home. This is the first time Mom's been home. So it really, like, I mean, you can tell, like, right now, dude, my eyes are watering. Like, it's really hitting me again. But it was like, that hit me so much, like a truck, you know, and I just lived in it. You know, I just sat there and let it come.
That's good.
And didn't fight it because, you know, with my dad, I fought everything. You know, I got to bury it. I got to be strong for Mom. I got to this. And this time it's like, no, I don't. Like, the way I can show strength is to show vulnerability, to tell people I'm hurting. I need a hug, or I need help, or whatever it is, you know. So I mean, you know, definitely telling this for anyone who listens. It's like, please don't bury it. Please use your support system. You know, and that was what the biggest thing that was nice about, you know, being with my family that night, is we all were hurting that Mom wasn't there. We all noticed it. We all knew it. You know, nobody had to say it. You know, it was there. But we still had a really nice night together, and nothing would have warmed my mom's heart more than sitting there watching her kids and her grandkids and her great-grandkids all get along, have a nice night, enjoy a dinner together, and just spend time together. So, you know, so yeah. So like I said, that was really tough. And I actually had talked to my psychiatrist before, it was a few weeks before that, because I was very much like, hey, I kind of want to up my medication, because this is going to be really hard for me for the next few months, because seasonal depression on its own, and grief. I know this tornado is just going to punch me hard, and it sure did. And I upped my medicine, and it's done its job as far as providing a floor, which is my main concern. I know some people are more worried about other parts of how your medication works for your depression, but for me, it's like, I need a floor, because if I have the floor, I can pick myself up at some point. It might take me a week, but I can pick myself up. If I don't have the floor, it's a problem. You know, I can't be allowed to just continue to fall, you know, because that's where bad things happen. So, you know, and luckily I know that about myself. Went in, had the conversation, you know, also found out that was going to be my last meeting with that doctor, that she was moving on. And I was like, dang it, because I really like her. So, but I met I met the guy that's going to be replacing her, and he seems like a really nice guy. So the downside is, you know, my first meeting with him, I'm going to have to sit there and be like, here's all the things about me, so now you get to know me. Yep. Again, I just did this a couple months ago. But whatever, you know. So, but and I kind of had a worry the last couple months, because my cat's been acting real different. And she was really like scratching at herself. So, you know, I got a vet appointment, took her in, and I was worried because, you know, I'm going in going, man, she's like 15 years old. You know, who knows what they're going to tell me? You know, it may not be great news, you know. The scratching I thought was because of the heat kicking on, and she's been laying on a register. So I'm like, she's probably getting her skin really dry and itchy. So we go in, they comb her, and he's like, I found a flea. And I'm like, how? Because I'm like, the only like she had a few spots on her where obviously she'd been kicking a lot, right? But like me and my roommate, nothing. No bites on us at all. And that's weird because I've had pets that got fleas before, and usually like my ankles get bit up or parts of me get chewed up. Nothing, not at all. We haven't found any. And I'm like, maybe it's because she's just staying over on that register versus laying on our laps all the time. And, you know, like a lot of pets would, you know, socialize and be all over the furniture or whatever. So, you know, and it's like, that's the only thing I can think of because I still have not seen one. Even since I brought her home, I haven't seen any. I didn't find any on her either. But I was like, the only other thing I can think of is we have had flies in the house, like that I just can't get rid of. Like I can't find, and you know, you'll never find the source of it unless it's like an obvious situation, you know.
Yeah.
But I can't find them. And I know the little ones, my mom used to sit over where she sat and she'd talk about how they would bite her all the time. And I'd be like, are they fleas? And she'd go, no, because they're not, you know, fleas have like a little hard shell to them. And she's like, these are soft, like baby flies or gnats, you know? And I never got messed with by them, but she did. And the only thing I can think of is maybe lotions or something she wore attracted them versus my musky man scented stuff doesn't attract them the same way, I guess. I don't know. But, and since she's been gone, they still haven't bothered me, you know? So it's like, it's weird. But the worst part was, you know, he told me she looked, you know, a little anemic. And he's like, that's probably because of getting bit up. You know, she just, you know, whatever. So obviously I got some flea stuff and put on her, and they gave me this spray stuff that I can spray on stuff at the house instead of doing a bug bomb. Basically, you just do it yourself. You know, you just spray stuff and then vacuum it up or whatever. So I was like, okay, you know, do that. But he said he thinks she's going blind or is blind because he was doing, for those not watching, like he'd move his finger real quick at her face and she didn't flinch. And I watched him do it. And I was like, that is weird. She's not flinching. So they give her back to me. They go out in the hallway. And while they're out there, she looks up at me and I just, you know, move my finger. She immediately flinched every time I did it. The only thing I can think of is she was so like scared that she just was like
catatonic,
just frozen. Yeah. But you know, she was a super good the whole time. I mean, she's a sweet kitty, you know, she couldn't have been nicer, and I'm watching her since I got home and it's like, well, she's not bumping into anything. And usually blind animals bump into stuff. I mean, I know cats have whiskers and I'm not saying that he was wrong. She might have lost some of her sight. That wouldn't surprise me. And I found out she's not 15. She's 16 and a half. So she's even older than I thought she was. But yeah, so, you know, I was super worried about that because I'm like, man, just please don't let anything major be wrong with my kitty. I can't do this right now. I don't want to lose her ever, but I know at some point it'll happen. But it's like, can it just not be right now? But she seems fine. You know, like I gave her I got the stuff out that you put on the back of their neck to whatever. And she seems like she's kicking less. They told me it could take up to 3 months for it to fully kill off like fleas and stuff. So I was like, okay, you know, so I'll probably have to go get another round of it for her. Because we've never had her on any sort of flea medication because she's 100% an indoor cat. Every once in a while, she might step out onto the porch and take a look around, you know, and then she walks back in the house. Like she has no real want to go outside. But anyways, with the blindness thing, so I'm sitting on my couch. Next thing you know, boom, she jumps up on the back of the couch. And I'm like, okay, you know, pet her for a while. She's sitting there. She's looking over at the kitchen table, which is about 3 or 4 feet away from the couch because we moved it, you know, at one point. And I see her eyeing it, and I'm like, no, you know, because in my head, all I can see is she's going to miss. Because I did notice her legs aren't quite what they used to be. She doesn't, and again, maybe this is the anemia too, you know, like if she is feeling down, maybe that's part of it. Next thing you know, man, boom, jumps right over to the table. And I'm like, yeah, if she was blind, she wouldn't have attempted that. Because they don't jump, like especially her, she don't jump where she can't see. She doesn't go high because she can't see the landing. I know some cats will still say screw it and they'll do it. She's never been that cat, right? If she can't see a clear landing spot, she won't jump up there. And she just boom right over the table, and it just starts cleaning her paw like nothing's going on. And she slid when she landed, but I think that was more there's just nothing to grab onto. At first I thought she kind of missed the jump a little bit, but then I was like, you know what? I bet that's more she just slid because she just landed on the table and there's nowhere to grip. It's just a smooth table.
Yeah.
But, so it's like, okay, I was like, I feel like there's a good chance she's maybe lost some of her vision because there's things that you kind of notice, like her jumps aren't as crisp, but again, that could be legs, but it could be both. Maybe she still thinks she can make that jump and then the legs are like, we lost a little vertical here, but but she's seemingly okay. So, she's eating fine, drinking fine, she still talks to us. So, but she doesn't socialize like she was. Like she really is just laying on that register and she goes and eats, goes back to the register. She really doesn't roam the house anymore. She doesn't, like I can leave doors open now. Before, if I, I've talked about it countless times where like this room here, if I open the door, like she'd immediately try to get in. Now she's never back here. So that still concerns me a little bit, but whatever. Overall, she seems good. So that's all I can ask for. She still seems happy enough. So, but it's just, you worry, especially when you got the vet appointment coming up, and it's like a week out and you're just worried the whole time. Like, please don't let it be bad. Please don't. The worst part in the whole thing was when I was in there and he's like, well, we can run tests for the anemia and blah, blah, blah. And, see what her blood pressure is, all this. And I'm like, okay. And then they show me the cost and I'm like, oh, and it's like, it's like $400 and some to run those tests. And I'm like, is this something I should do or something that's just there? And he's like, I probably wouldn't do it. He's like, it's an option. And I was like, okay. I'm like, but it's not something you think's going to be. And he goes, no. He's like, if she gets worse, you can bring her back. We always can still do those things. I was like, okay, well, let's go with this because that's a lot of money, especially that I wasn't expecting, so yeah. But what else was there? There was, I'm trying to think there was something else. Yeah, I've really been struggling with depression. I've noticed like anxiety is always where it always is, but depression's really, and I know part of it's winter. The cold keeps me inside even more, cause like, who wants to go outside when it feels like it's negative 15 out, and I'm not exaggerating. We had 10 days in a row where they had, first alert days on the weather because the wind chills were all below zero. Like school got called off quite a few days. Yeah. That's why I said totally not a normal winter for us, so, that keeps you inside more, but I'm noticing it's been getting hard to get out of bed and different stuff. So, and my brain's really been worrying about like, I still got to figure out what I'm going to do to survive, cause the money I have is going to run out at some point, like I'm still okay, but it's going to run out at some point, I can't just ignore the situation and I still don't have a better answer, really. So that's been kind of kicking my butt. So it's like, I think I have therapy scheduled next week. So hopefully I'll talk to her about that stuff too. But what else was there? One thing I thought was kind of something I just wanted to bring up on here is, even though I've been talking mostly about mental health and stuff, but I had somebody, have you ever had somebody, like, how like for a long time there, people were doing like privilege checks on people, right? Like you'd say something and they'd be like, yeah, you're coming from a place of privilege here. Like check yourself on that. Like that's not what everybody goes through. Well, I've always been one that if someone does that, I take a minute and step back and try to, is this who I want to be? Can I change these things? Because I don't want to be a person who overlooks or looks down on people that, aren't at the same privilege level I may be at, you know, and there's people above and below pretty much all of us, you know. So, but I had somebody bring up something on Twitter that I found really interesting because she pointed out about how people, when they listen to music, like especially guys, that most guys seek out guy musicians and have a real kind of not an intentional bias, but generally a bias toward, you know, female musicians. And at first I was like, no. And then I'm stopped and thought about it. And it was like, I'm looking through Spotify at my most recent listens and I'm going, there's not one female performer until I finally get to the Rondells, because Tony and I are listening to the top 500 albums for Rolling Stone. And I'm like, oh man, I hadn't thought about that. I listen to a lot of rock music, right? And I was like, and you think about nature nurture, and it's like, it's not nature, because my mom listened to plenty of female musicians, you know, growing up. My sisters did, because they listened to like pop-ish music or pop rock, you know. And, you know, my brother, where I got my like love of metal from, didn't listen to a lot of female performers unless it was like, you know, Lita Ford was on an Ozzy track or something like that type of situation, you know. And it was like, So I was very much like, all right, well, I'm going to try to be more aware of this, because I know for a fact, especially now, there's a lot of female-led metal groups out there. And there's some really good ones. Not that there weren't before, right? Like, I just am not aware of as many. You know, and there's, you can go back to like bands like Kitty and Shirley Manson with Garbage and different stuff that I've always dug. But, you know, it's one of those to where it's like once every so often types. So I was like, okay, you know, and I think where it came from is I think it became nurture from just the radio stations I listened to, because they didn't play. You know, when I'm listening to rock music, they weren't playing a lot of female-led bands. Like when Kitty came out, it was almost like, hey, here's a woman in the rock and roll music, you know, kind of thing. And I think that carries over, right? And I didn't ever think about it. And then I'm thinking about bands that I've seen, and I'm like, man, I haven't seen a lot of female-led or even just female musicians in the bands. They're mostly dudes that form their bands in their garage, you know, and that's that's the thing. If there's females on stage, they're probably dancers, you know, or something of that ilk. So I, you know, like I said, I've been trying to listen to, you know, more recently, and definitely have like obvious ones like Hailstorm and whatever. I've listened to like Poppy and Baby Metal and stuff like that over the years, you know. But it was like I stumbled into the Distillers the other day, and the Distillers are not a new band. They've been around. and I stumbled across them because I was listening to a punk mix, you know, and in that punk mix is Against Me, which, you know, is led by a transgender female. And, you know, so it's like, I think because of that, I think when you like those songs, so it's like, okay, I got to go out of my way with Spotify to basically tell it I like female-led bands. Because when it does it on its own, I think it goes, oh, you like Metallica. You're going to like this band that's similar to Metallica and this band, right? So these other bands are, even though they're metal bands, they're not what Spotify considers similar. So I think you have to go out of your way to train it to start going, oh, he also likes these things, you know? So I've been trying to do that more and more lately, because it's not an intentional bias, and there's a lot of really good, you know me, like if it's good music, I'm in, let's go. I want to hear it.
It's good music, yeah.
Right, yeah. So, you know, but I thanked her for that, because I'm like, you know, it's awesome when someone kind of hits you with stuff like that. Like I remember years ago listening to a podcast where a woman was talking about her dating biases. You know, like she was Asian, and she was like, basically she was... because her parents were very much like, you have to marry an Asian guy, she would swipe left on every Asian guy that came up. So she then was like, okay, I need to quit doing this, because I could just be missing a great guy, and I'm only doing it because he's Asian, you know? And I started looking at myself in the same regard, right? Like, because it's like, is there any certain group that you're just swiping left on? And if so, why? If your real goal is to find an awesome person, why are you immediately dwindling the pool down? And I get it for certain reasons, like, hey, I don't want to date a smoker or whatever, or somebody with kids or whatever your things like that. That's different. Or they don't align politically with me, or, I can understand those things. But when it comes down to just because of the other, it's like, yo, you're being racist and you don't even realize how racist you're being, so knock it off kind of a thing. So, which I've never been bad about. Like, I've always just been like, if the person seems awesome, I'm more like personality guy. Like, I'm really attracted to personalities. The other stuff's great, but I need somebody that I'm going to get along with and laugh with and all that. That's more important to me. But, so anyway, I just wrapping this up. It's like, I just thought it was cool that somebody kind of gives you a kick in the butt once in a while and like, hey, there's all this other cool stuff out here that you're missing out on because of whether it's nature or nurture, whether you're doing it intentionally or not, like, knock it off, at least dip your toes in this pool and see what's going on over here. You might really like something over here, And same with, music for a long time. I did that. And it wasn't even about like the gender part of it. It was just like, how many people are just immediately are like, this genre of music I can't stand. And it's like, have you given it a chance? Have you given it a chance lately? Because, things evolve also. Also, when I hear somebody say I don't like metal, and I'm like, there's a lot of different subgenres in metal. Like, are you sure? Like, there's a lot. Like, there might be one you like. Or, it's, like we did with beer with people. When, I don't like beer. It's like, I bet you there's a good chance you probably like some beer you just haven't had.
Yeah, like something, yeah.
Because there's so many types now, So, anyway. But I thought that was just a good, like, work on yourself exercise a little bit there for all of us, to not just section off something. Or like I said, I don't even think I was doing it intentionally. I think it was more that, like, for the longest time, I couldn't have told you more than probably 2 or 3 rock bands that were fronted by a woman at all. Now I can name quite a few more. But even still, the number of those I can name versus male-fronted ones is, and like I said, there's a lot of really good ones out there now. So,
yeah,
like open your mind up to this stuff. And again, especially if you're, probably more in our age group, to where, like I said, I think a lot of it was just fostered by what we listened to on the radio growing up. Because unless I went to a festival or something like that, it was like I'm listening to basically just male bands because that's all they played on the rock stations around here, Unless maybe you get some like old Joan Jett or, some stuff like that, But as far as recent stuff, it took a while. Because I remember people used to complain about the one rock station playing Kitty because they didn't like them, and I'm like, why? Like, they rock. They were great. I dug them. But anyway. Yeah. So I think that's most of what I got for that. So, but as we do every year, we talk about our power words. And for those who don't know what power words are, it's where we pick kind of, I don't know, is it like a mantra kind of situation almost? It's like, kind of your goal for the year. It's like, it's not really a resolution. It's just something that you're just trying to...
setting an intention?
Yeah, yeah. Because it's also something that, like, we don't kill ourselves if... I don't mean it that way. We don't, like, hammer ourselves hard if we miss. It's something you're striving towards, you're working toward, but it also is, just in the hopes of making yourself a better person, generally, or happier, if not... Which... makes you a better person, because if you're happy, then in your eyes at least you're a better person, I guess. Because you can do some really selfish things that make you happy and be a really terrible person.
But you're probably doing something right if you're happy. Well,
I was like, actually, you know what,
then I'm sure that are really happy.
I'm forgetting about the narcissism part. Yeah. So anyway, so last year, Henno's word was service, and mine was baby steps. So how do you think you did?
Terrible.
You were absolutely not of service all year.
Well, I guess if I look at what I put out in my hobbies,
Yeah.
I did a lot of service. Like I do it because I love playing music.
Right.
It's not my vocation. It's it's all passion projects, and it's all for fun.
Mm.
I think my greatest service that I did last year was
allowing that. Oh, that was this year. I was going to say allowing that guy to be your roadie.
Yeah, right.
That was this year. Never mind.
Because he knows who I.
Yeah.
He knows who I am. But helping out that family,
Yes.
with liquidizing that estate. Am I getting something out of it? Yes, I am.
Yeah.
But it's still me taking hours and lots of hours out of.
It's interesting because that came to you later in the year, kind of. But I really feel like you stepped up big on that, because a lot of people, because of the amount of work involved, wouldn't have wanted to bother. Even if they were getting something out of it, a lot of people would just be like, that's a lot. I don't have time for that.
And the other part about it, I think, was where this is, like this whole idea of having, false pride versus, I'm proud of myself for the work that I did, not just in the being able to help somebody out financially and all this stuff, but also how I did it as far as keeping the books organized and being completely transparent and providing statements and
because you easily could rip somebody off doing this. Easily could. And and I know that's not you. I'm not. Obviously, I'm not saying you would, but a person really could rip somebody off doing this, and it wouldn't even be hard.
Yeah. Oh, it's super easy, because all you have to do is be vague.
Yeah.
And it's the one thing where it's where I'm proud of what I did, because I committed to it, and I didn't give half. I gave full. And
I agree. Yeah, I agree, because honestly, there's weeks we didn't do the podcast because, especially at first, because you were up to your eyeballs in equipment that you were trying to go through and sell and get everything going. That was part of a reason, and to where you were like, I really want to do this. And I very much, I'm always like, oh no, do that, because being of service is always the better, it's always the right thing. It's never, I would never get upset or mad or anything like that over it. Just same as I assume you would be the same way. If I were doing the same thing, you'd be like, hey, I understand, it's a lot of work, and you're working also. It's not like, again, this is not your vocation. This is something you're doing to really help someone, because she doesn't know what she has,
Yeah, had no idea.
Yeah.
And it really, I think the part of it, no matter, once again, it was nice having access to all this gear. I'm getting something out of it, but it felt really good to take something that, in a lot of ways, this was personal.
Mm-hmm. That
because
too. You're making something good out of something really awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's where my service. Work-wise, that was not service. But
yeah, you were sassy this year, I think. Sassier than you've been in a while.
Than I ever been.
Yeah.
I've never been this. This was honestly, this was if you were to ask me what was, what was my work power word?
Yeah.
It was boundaries.
Yeah. Yeah.
And me laying them down with an iron fist.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Just no. I was done
Yeah.
going along to get along. I was done.
Yeah.
And I, you know, when I had my review with my GM at the end of the year, do I feel bad about it? Yeah, of course I do. Because who likes conflict? Nobody. Well,
Yeah,
I hope
right?
you don't.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I don't. It doesn't
No.
make me feel good.
No.
But I needed to do it for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I needed to call out when this is not right.
Yes.
And
Well,
to
and again,
really
you
look
want to
at
talk about like where I mentioned checking privilege, right? You were in a position of privilege because of your, I'll call it seniority for lack of a better
tenure.
term.
Yeah, in tenure.
That you
whatever
were,
you want to call it. Yep.
you were able to wield a power that others could not wield, in that your words are heavy. Like, you know, like if you come in or like, this is no good, blah, 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 there's a better chance people will listen, because you're generally not a guy who makes trouble to make trouble. If you're making trouble, it's because there's a problem, you know. And newer people a lot of times are too afraid of losing their job. They don't feel they have any security. And so when any of us can do this for someone who doesn't feel they have the same level of power or influence, you know, you can really help people in that regard. So in that regard, I feel like you did check mark the service box, because you did voice for others at times also. I mean, even though it was mainly for yourself.
You know? I mean, I'm not gonna candy coat it and try to say, oh, I was speaking up for those people.
Oh no, I know. Yeah.
I mean, if I ended up doing a service for somebody because they didn't want to talk about it, but mostly it was about me finally just saying, you know, this, it came down to my motives versus how I felt other people's motives weren't properly placed.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's me being judgmental and all those other things, but it's also me bringing my experience and time of being there, and just, I don't know. Like I said, I didn't like doing it, but I don't regret any of it.
Right, exactly.
Because I look at where we're at today, and there have been, you know, I don't feel bad at all where I've allowed people, you know, just to give people the grace of, you know, not judging them and not, you know, that, like, I don't know, maybe that'll be my, you know, my word for the year. But I think it's one thing that I've tried to stress over and over again is there are times where you need to speak up and you need to, you know, you need to set boundaries, but there are also places where you can be understanding and compassionate.
Yes.
And, you know, an example of that would be, you know, just a few weeks ago, when one of my coworkers still has, you know, an issue with another one. And I looked at him and I said, look, we're over 55 years old. He's 25. What were you like when you were 25?
Yeah.
And my coworker stopped and he's like, okay.
Yeah.
You know, like, he just stopped for good. Like, were you coming in on time, sober?
Yeah.
No, you were still getting up and coming down off the coke high.
Yeah.
You know, like, you guys were showing up hungover. Like, you were getting hammered every night and doing drugs.
Yep.
This kid isn't. I don't even want to call him a kid. He's an adult.
Right.
And he's not.
Yeah.
And so tell me. So he milks it a little bit. Tell me you didn't.
Right.
You know, you get like, don't throw your 45 and over mentality onto someone. Like,
yeah.
And it was funny because he finally looked at me and says, okay, you got a point there. I'm like, good. So, you know, again, just relax.
Yeah.
You know,
because you're right. It's so easy to do that. It is so easy to forget that you're twice the age of somebody, or even forgetting that, just remembering what you were like at that age. It's like, were you, like you said, were you on time every day? Were you sober and on time every day? Were you, you know,
day, right?
did you half-ass it some of those days? More, you know, those kind of things. It's like, yeah, you probably did. Like, maybe give them the grace that the twice your age person gave you back then, or even if they didn't, be better than the person who didn't give you any grace, you know, like just do better.
What I think about is all the grace I was given until I didn't deserve anymore.
Right.
and
then some.
I had and then they gave me a talking to.
Yeah.
But did I get fired? Nope. They gave me an opportunity.
Right.
To do better.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's.
Yeah, so in looking back at the service thing, you know, it's like I know where I nailed it, I know where I didn't, and but I think it was a good topic. It was still it's always going to be my goal, and you know, it's a lot easier to be service oriented when it's worth it.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
But that's I think the whole point of this is that. My power word is not going to be something that comes easy to me.
No, and
it's going to be something that doesn't come easy.
Like,
to me.
My New Year's resolutions, I'm going to tie my shoes. You know, like
yeah, right.
Or the people when it's Lent and they're like, oh, I'm giving up something that they don't do. Basically, and you're like, I don't think that's the intent, but whatever, you do you. You know.
Yeah, like you know, 2 years ago, you know, Joy. You know, like that's always like all of these they're always on the list.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, they will always be on the list.
Shouldn't joy be a goal, right? We should all be striving for joy. I posted a tweet the other day that was like, the older I get, the more that I think the point of life is whimsy. And I'm really buying into that.
I love that whimsy. I love that. Yes, I've seen that in a few memes recently, and I love that idea.
And I really do, because you think about it, like, because when you're in that kind of mood, whatever, you know, you are in the moment. It's hard to be experiencing whimsy and not be in the moment, right? Like, so it's like, it's one of those that, again, it's one of those situations where I think it's something, you know, you can't live in whimsy. That's probably not healthy, but, but there's, you know, visiting there is pretty awesome. You know, that's, you know, joy is the same way. We shouldn't, you know, you're not going to experience joy 24 hours a day. Otherwise you wouldn't appreciate it. You know, at some point it wouldn't be joy anymore because it would be normal. You know, there'd be no elevation to it, but it's definitely something we should strive for any year, because you know, we all deserve it. We all deserve good things. We deserve to enjoy things, and you know, especially because bad things do happen that are out of our power, and you know, whatever. But yeah, I think you're right. You know, it's as most of these are things we really could, like, if we just kept a running list, we could probably go down that checklist every year and be like, hey, did we hit these? And it would probably be a fairly decent look at, like, are we moving the right direction? You know, because if we had 10 of these and we're missing 7 of them, it's like, oh, maybe I need to make some adjustments this year. You know, if I'm hitting 7 and go, you know, I think I'm doing okay. You know, that's not bad.
Yep.
So mine was baby steps, as we said, unless you have something else. Sorry.
No, I'm good. Yeah.
Okay. So mine was baby steps, and it's really funny because obviously, you know, my year got absolutely turned upside down on me.
Oh yeah.
My whole world changed. You know, when my mom died, and but it's funny because I think if I look at it from that point forward, I actually think baby steps really applied, because I've really taken the grief in baby steps. I've tried not to let anything get too big for me, which is not something I'm good at. I'm very much much like you mentioned earlier, you know, if something's coming up in June, I'm worrying about it now because I got to be prepared kind of situation. And I still do that. But like I said, with grief, I tried, like, through the whole, especially the first month, where there was so much to do. to tie up loose ends and all this stuff, is I think I did a really good job of staying in front of it or staying in the moment of it. And even though I had a huge list of calls I had to make and documents I had to do and all this kind of stuff, I just got up and was like, this is what I can handle today. And I took it, and if I could handle more, cool. If I couldn't, okay, well, that's tomorrow's problem.
Yeah.
My brother said that to me like 2 days, I think, after my mom died. And he said, I'm going to tell you something that someone told me, and it was great advice. And he's like, and basically it's a look at things and go, is this a today problem or is this a later problem? And he's like, and it made a huge difference in how I approached handling things. So I think from that perspective, I think I did a really good job. The downside is because of that happening and other things getting thrown all over the place on me, is I feel like I kind of took a major step backwards in myself, but that was only mainly because of grief and, survival, honestly. I went into survival mode for quite a while there. And honestly, I wouldn't say that I'm out of it at this point, so, it's, as anyone knows, grief's a weird thing, and the waves it can come in, and not just the grief part, but it's, like I said, it shifted my life significantly in many ways. So I'm still trying to figure out what I'm doing. I still feel like I'm kind of up to my eyes in water, and I'm just splashing around. In other ways, I feel like I'm treading pretty well, so it's, but like I said, I think the big thing is I really have tried not to let any one piece of this get too big for me. And it's also helped that, again, I have a tremendous support system. My sisters, text me every once in a while. You okay? Do you need anything? Kind of situation. And we've still stayed pretty, talking to each other for it, because it's hard on them too, and that's something that's been tough at times that I kind of catch myself forgetting a little bit. Is you get caught up in your own grief and you forget, oh hey, you're not the only one suffering here. You need to check in on them also, and like, how are they? Because my one sister that had health issues had to have another procedure done right after Christmas. I didn't even mention that earlier, so we were all worried about that. And everything seemingly has gone okay with it, and she's doing a lot better. So, we're fortunate there. But, it's one of those things that I also had to remember to check in on her because of that. Like, it wasn't just, it's amazing because, grief adds such a sludge to your life that it slows everything, it changes things, and you still have to remember, the world's still moving at full speed, even though I'm in quicksand here. I have to remember, like that with my sisters, after she had her procedure, I, texted her that day and, hey, how you feeling? And, the next couple days. And, with me not driving, I can't really I was like, I could come over. Like, I could always take an Uber over to her and, if you want me to sit with you or something, or you're welcome to come over here and hang out, I can cook for you, whatever, if you need something. But, it's, so like I said, it's tough when you're in your own sludge to try to remember, oh, hey, I need to poke my head out of this once in a while because other people are in sludge too. I need to make sure the rope holding us all together stays intact, so. Or, even to check in on friends and stuff. I know I haven't done that as well as I have in the past. And I know people understand, but, it's still not who you want to be. You want to get back to being that, at least check in once in a while. Hey, how you been? Everything good? Or even if it's not good, do you need to talk? Whatever, I'm here for you kind of situation. So, yeah. So like I said, I think for the most part, I think I've done okay. Before my mom died, I don't know that I was doing that great. I think I was just kind of drifting, and, her dying definitely changed that. I couldn't just drift the way I had been drifting, but I have recently kind of felt like I'm slipping back into it. And it's time to change that. So with that, I'll go first on my word here. since I'm already yapping. And my word for this year needs to be action. Not because I even want it to be, but because it needs to be. Because sitting around hoping for change doesn't change anything, right? We all know that. That's a trope. I mean, it's not like I'm saying anything groundbreaking here, but I need.
But your statement is strong.
But I need to for myself. I need to be a person of action because, like I said, I have some money, but it's gonna run out. I have to come up with a plan. I have to put something in motion to survive, at some point. So I don't know what that is at this point. I don't know what action there's going to be, but action is going to be my word.
That's a bold one. Adding in the need part.
Yeah.
Like that's very bold.
Yep.
Which is what you need right now. It sounds like
it is, right? I mean, it really is. Cause I said, I could drift until my money runs out, but then what?
Yeah.
I can't just sit here and hope money falls out of the sky in my lap because that isn't going to happen, and if it does, it's probably owed money by somebody else. Like, oh man, someone tried to pull a DB Cooper and the bag landed on my yard,
Yeah.
Little timely reference for the kids there.
The children's. Mm-hmm. The children's going to get that one.
Kids love a good DB Cooper story. If you don't know who DB Cooper is, look it up because it is a fascinating story.
Yeah, it's a great one.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm running with how I've been feeling.
Sassy?
Taking, sassy.
That'd be a great one for the year, wouldn't it? I'm going to just be sassy all year.
I just gotta be spicy.
Yeah.
As the children today are calling it.
Yeah.
Spicy. Neurospicy.
Yep.
I'm going with relaxed.
Oh, okay.
Like it's like to me, like if I think back of previous ones, like flow. Like that was the idea of just like kind of rolling with what comes kind of thing. But I'm just going like like action can be a suggestion or a need.
Yeah.
I think relax can be that also. Like, oh really? Benny's got an opinion.
I
Clearly,
thought so.
He's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, so you have something to say? You want to add to this conversation?
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of sassy, nobody asked for your sass. But I think like also relax can also be one of those, like that could be like a must do.
Yeah. You're right.
It doesn't just have to be like a suggestion, like, that has to happen. So that's going to be my thing for this year is outside of all this, like how do I take better care of myself? I can relax a little bit more.
Yeah. I really think that's,
and I'm feeling it.
That's one of those things that I think a lot of people really need because like I was saying earlier, it's like, people are so go, 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 go. And it's like people need more time to recover, to recharge.
Yeah. Plus, since I'm doing an 80s band, I can get the old t-shirt that said relax on it.
Yeah. Frankie says relax.
Because, Frankie says relax.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
That's right. I like it.
I think like relax MF.
Yeah.
It'll work,
Yeah, definitely.
Oh no. The second one showed up too now.
Oh boy. You got a protest going on.
Now there's both of them coming in. Why? Why are both of you in here now?
Oh man.
Oh, they're both scared at me.
This is an intervention, I think.
It is, like seriously it is.
I know we both love you, but
I'm still like dogs and like they have watches.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Like, how do you guys know?
Yeah. Yep, they all do. We put them on a system, and then when we don't meet that system, they're like pointing at the watch.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you're a dog. Where'd you get a watch?
Where'd you get a watch?
Yeah. That's nicer than mine. Yeah. Is that the new iWatch or Apple Watch?
It definitely works better than mine.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah,
we
they don't
love
miss.
You guys. No, they don't.
No.
Like, it's kind of wild sometimes.
Time change is brutal on them too. I remember the last cat that I had when
Yeah.
Jen would, the time would change. So it was, she's getting home at a technically different time, and the cat's like, yo, where's my food? Like, I'm starving. And it's like, hey, you got an hour.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't like that answer.
No, sorry about your luck.
Like you're waiting a little longer.
You need to adjust your clock. But yeah.
Yep.
All right. So there you go.
I like it.
Our words are relax and action, which is kind of funny. They're
actually it is
kind of juxtaposed. But it makes sense because when you look, you do tons of things I don't. So it's like if you look at what each of us probably needs for balance sake is, I need to move more.
Actually, you're right.
You need to do a little less.
I need to do a little less.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah. It's just
and
kind
I
of
think it's also kind of interesting is like, action, but also to act.
Yeah.
To act.
Right.
It's that I like that idea of like it's a conscious choice.
Yes.
Like,
in both, really. Relax too.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're making, hey, I need to, no, I'm going to relax tonight,
Yeah. And that idea of we sit there and say, so doing nothing is also an action, right?
It is.
Like, and sometimes we need to do nothing, but sometimes we need to, not do nothing.
We need a foot in the
we
boot,
need to
in the
act.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the butt. And I get that part. And I need a, like I've noticed my heart stuff has still gone up and down a little bit.
Yeah.
And I keep looking for outside reasons, where I might be. It's basically it's like my meds are working against something else. Like I'm having, the what's that called again when two drugs are
like an interaction
messing with each other. Yeah, when they're and I keep looking for that, but I think a lot of it just might be stress.
Yeah, well, it is, right? A friend of mine that's a doctor, she's constantly telling people, like, the worst thing for people is stress because the cortisol release is really awful for us. And she's like, I keep telling people it's find something, even if it's, start working out because that relieves, like your releases endorphins, find, listen to music, whatever it is you can do, introduce it where you can, even if it's, I don't listen to music on the car ride home. We'll start, listen to music when you're in the shower or find places you can do things that bring you some joy or relax you in other parts of your day if you can, or just start making time, like, deliberately, hey, this is my relax time, whether it's yoga, meditation, watching stupid TV shows, playing a video game, whatever it is a person needs. Just, we all need that because we're not supposed to live in survival mode. And that's kind of what, like I said, that's kind of the way that society's pushing people is, like I said, so many people feel like that from the minute they wake up to the minute they got to go to bed, they've got to be busy, and it's so bad for us, because that leads to bad sleep. Yeah. And man, I just read a thing about this big sleep study that was showing the difference between people when you sleep 8 hours and 6 hours type of thing. And they showed that what happens is when the reason people like me, I've bragged for years about how I can go on like 3-4 hours of sleep. And this study found out why. And what happens is basically when you start doing it regularly, your body just gets used to it. So you can function on that, but you're only going to function at a smaller percentage because by not recharging all the way, you don't have 100% battery, right? Which, right? That makes total sense. So now you're working on 4 hours of sleep or 6 hours of sleep a night. Your production rate, they found, versus people who sleep 8 hours a night is significantly different because the 8 hour sleep charges you higher. And it's obviously better for your brain and blah, blah, blah. But I was like, I never thought about it in that regard, that you're really tired for the first couple days. And then you're kind of like, whatever, it's just normal now. Your body adjusts to this is normal, which is terrible. really bad for you. So if you're a person listening and you're like me, to where for years and years you're like, oh, I can go on 3 or 4 hours. Yeah, knock it off. Like, try to get your sleep. So,
that's been my big physical change over the last. I think I kind of jumped on it with the time change.
Yeah.
And I'm going to bed a lot earlier.
Yeah.
A lot earlier. Where I used to stay up till 10 or 11 doing stuff, 9 o'clock, I'm in bed.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily asleep,
right?
But I'm in bed.
But it's important though, right? It's like it's the what is it? The sleep experts talk about how you need to have a routine for sleep. Like at this time, no more screens. At this time, I'm in bed, kind of a thing. Those kind of things that. So your body, when you get into bed, your body goes, oh, it's sleep time, not, oh, it's video game time, or, watch 6 hours of TV like some people. We won't say who, but
and I'm getting up in the morning and I do have more energy. I just do.
Of course you do, right?
I have more energy.
You're charging your battery better. That's what I said.
And I'm happy to have the transition happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really am. Like I've never been proud of like, oh, I go to bed at 11 to midnight and wake up at 5:30 every day.
Yeah.
Like I've never been proud of that.
Yeah. I just have always been that like I think until recently, like I just never thought I needed it, right? Like I'd go to bed at 5 a.m. Oh, I got to work at 10, so I'm up at 8:30. And I'm tired, but it's 8:30 in the morning. Of course I'm tired, right? That's my brain, justifying it. And, I get to work and okay, I'm no good until noon basically because it takes you a while to wake up, and really get your blood pumping. Also, I didn't know things that can help you get going in the morning, like really like doing some jumping jacks or drinking large glass of water, it helps your body start waking up kind of a thing, like just different stuff like that. I never, didn't know about when I was 20, and so of course I was terrible in the mornings because I wasn't going to bed until 5 at night, in the morning. Like if I had gone to bed at a reasonable time, I probably would have felt pretty decent I don't think would have been great, because there were nights where I got plenty of sleep and I'd get up and be like, oh, I just want to go back to bed. but it makes a big difference. It's like, even though I was tired, it was different, because the other way you're more fatigued because you're just not, like I said, picture if you just charge your phone to 50% every day. Look how fast you hit 0, right?
Yeah,
you don't have to look at anything else to get the concept, and your body works the same way, and you can energy drink and blah, 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 but it, that's all short term and really bad for you. So listen, and I'm not judging anybody. I used to start my day off by slamming a Mountain Dew. So, and I don't mean casually drinking. I do mean like slamming a Mountain Dew, like, oh, this caffeine's got to go right to my face. So I've never been a coffee or really much of an energy drink guy, but I heavily leaned on the caffeine of Mountain Dew for a long time. I no longer do that. When I wake up now, it's large drinks of water.
Well, I have a huge
tracts of land
Stitch mug.
Oh.
Yeah, I have huge tracts of land. I have this huge Stitch mug that started with getting half filled or filled up in the morning, and well, now I'm pretty much filling the whole thing up with coffee.
Yeah,
but I love my Stitch mug.
Awesome. I assume that's the one you mean, the one I sent you.
Yes, the one that you
awesome.
got.
I saw something the other day that was somebody was reminding people about how caffeine doesn't actually spike your energy. What it does is it delays fatigue, basically. And so the concept of coffee being a pick-me-up is actually a misnomer, which is similar to like smoking a cigarette to calm down, right? The cigarette itself does not cause any calm. It's a stimulant. But the meditation process of smoking the cigarette is what actually calms you down, So the routine, I guess I should say. So it's really interesting to find these things out because, for how many years it's like, oh, you need to pick me up coffee, gotta have coffee or an energy drink or Mountain Dew or whatever your caffeine of choice is, caffeinated gum, caffeinated water. What was that called? H2 Joe, I think it was. Do you remember that?
No.
It was seriously water with caffeine.
What are you talking about?
I'm not kidding.
Really?
I think it was called H2 Joe or something like that.
That's really funny.
Yep. I mean, much like now, they're adding protein to everything, so for a while it was caffeine. Because I remember there being, like I said, I remember caffeinated gum and all sorts of stuff. So
I remember caffeine. Yep, I remember caffeinated gum.
I think they still make caffeinated gum, but I don't think you're going to find it like at the grocery store. You probably got to order it on like Amazon or something.
You remember Gatorade gum?
Oh, Gator gum, yeah.
Gator gum?
Or whatever. It was probably called Gatorade gum, but Gator gum is what we always called it.
That just jumped into my head just now. Like, I remember that.
I do too.
Taste.
Yep. Oh. So bad. Oh, boy.
Benny's on the show now.
Yep. Yeah. Nobody can see him, but he's there.
You're going to hear him pretty soon. He'll start snoring.
Oh, yeah. I've definitely heard him snore before. Well, I guess I don't have anything else, do you? I mean, other than the wrap-up
we got a show.
All right.
Other than I think we should be able to podcast a little more often now that I'm a little less busy.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
it should be nice.
Let's hope. We still got to get topics. We still got to get Tony.
We have some guests to have on. Yes.
Yeah, we do. You're right. I was thinking that too. We should have a guest every once in a while. You're right. We got Jeannie who's wanted to come on, and we've had a few people.
This is the year of guests. We need to get some guests in.
Okay, yeah, we'll start handling that as we.
People are tired of listening to us all the time.
I get it.
What do you think the likelihood of getting Jen back on for a special episode?
I don't know. I mean, we could try. Can't hurt. Worst she can do is say no.
I haven't talked to her.
Then we
haven't talked to her forever.
Then we could tell everybody how she's just mean and won't come back on. No, yeah, I mean, because she can talk about massive transitions in her life because she's gone full stop and shifted her career path and also gone back to school. She got all sorts of stuff that she's shifted. So
see, then you know what? The diehard Crazy Life people need to hear this.
Yeah, you're right. I should hit her up and see if she wants to do that. Although we'll have to figure out the how to put her on here, but we'll figure that out. So, yeah. All right. Well, if you want to contact the show, you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/group/Crazy Life Podcast. Although I'm honestly not 100% sure how that's working now because there's been some weird stuff with like Facebook groups. It looks like they kind of did away with some of it. So, but they're there. But I can't really post in some of the podcast groups I was in before. I don't know what happened or what they changed. But so anyways, if you want to hit us up on Twitter, you can find us at the Crazy Life Podcast. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Jeez, I'm looking at the wrong thing. The Crazy Life Pod on Twitter. There you go. Is probably the best way to get a hold of us if you want to. How about you? How can they get a hold of you?
Always find me on the old Facebooks or the Instagrams. Look for Henno Heiter. And on X, I'm Ida Henno still. And I'm sure on Blue Sky and Threads, I'm Ida Henno as well. So,
right.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, I forgot. Yeah. I forgot to mention also, we're part of the Tangent Bound Network. So please go to tangentboundnetwork.com and check out the other shows there. Silly me. Got to get the business out of the way.
Tangent Bound.
Or Tangent Bound, yeah.
Tangent Bound if you're reading the transcript.
Yeah. My other podcast can be found at salty_language. I'm a mess, man. I haven't done this in a while. I'm all over the place. At salty_language on Twitter. Or at saltylanguage.com. That show's not safe for work. It's just me and my best pal talking about whatever pops into our heads or we talked about a variety of TV shows this week, the Masters of the Universe trailer, Lego Crocs, the naked Doritos and Cheetos that are out now that have no preservatives and artificial colors in them, that kind of stuff. So if any of that pops up to you, please give us a listen. We appreciate it. Show's not safe for work, though, so maybe put some earmuffs on the children's. And then, I didn't even promote myself. You can find me on, what am I on? I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, all at Stunami. I might be on other stuff, but those are the things I'm on the most, especially Twitter's the one I'm on the most. So, if you want to hit me up, that's the place. Excuse me. So, I guess with that, as we've mentioned kind of through the show, is please check in on your friends, see how they're doing and whatever. Also, just for yourself, it's just good to connect with people. I've had a couple in the last few weeks that, people that I talked with, it's like, I haven't talked to them in months. And it's like, what are we doing? One that was like, somebody I went to elementary school with, actually, all the way through high school. And we kind of, went different paths from there. But, we've kind of reconnected on Facebook recently. And that's been kind of cool to talk with him. That's really cool. See that he's living a good life and everything. So, made me happy. And also, if you need help, please reach out. It's just, no matter how strong you think you are, you're stronger with more people. Like, just, like I said earlier, it's so much easier to handle this grief than I'm going through with my family, because you definitely know everybody in the room knows what you're talking about, that kind of thing. So, please do that as well. And then, of course, the one thing that's, the one word that'll always be a power word for us, which is kindness. Please be kind. You don't have to be nice, but always be kind.
I love it.
I remember I don't remember if it was my mom or my dad that told me that years ago. That was like, you don't have to be nice, but always be kind. And the difference in the two is that, don't be a doormat, basically, but try to understand and try to be as kind as possible. Because when you lead with kindness, it's just the right way to go. And generally you won't regret your actions, hopefully. But, yeah. And also, one last thing that I don't normally talk about. I posted this on Twitter today, which is, especially with everything going on in the world right now, it's just constant doom scrolling for a lot of people. Shut that stuff off once in a while. You got to let your nervous system reset. Like, you really do. We're not meant to live with constant barrage of stressful news. So, step away from it, touch grass, play video games, walk your dogs, whatever it ends up being, but find something to get your head out of it. Just, put the screen away for a while and just enjoy something in life, if possible, for your own mental health. And encourage others to do the same thing. If you're going for a walk, if you don't mind, maybe have someone join you for the walk or whatever it happens to be. So, yeah. That's all I got. So, you want to take us out of here, Heno? Or you got anything else to add, I should say?
No, I'm just going to start us off with live that omelet. Live your omelet. However you like that omelet, live it. Mm-hmm. Mix it up however you need to.
Yeah. That sounds good.
Don't worry about yesterday's pizza. Yeah, I haven't had it. Actually, I had a nice eggs Benny today.
Oh, nice.
Since I don't work on Sundays.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah, that's nice. You can have a nice
little eggs Benedict. Yeah. Went to a little pickup, brought the wifey home some food.
Nice.
And I had a slice of pizza in the refrigerator and I didn't worry about it.
Well, good, because we can't have it leaking that you were worried about that pizza. Otherwise,
about the pizza. No,
the scandal.
Yesterday's pizza.
The scandal. Oh,
the scandal.
All right. We'll talk to you next time.